Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. In this video, it's going to be my next leveling series of how to level like a boss, ranging from levels 15 to 23. If you haven't watched the first video, I recommend going back because some of the information will carry across and I won't want to try and go over it twice. I've got all this information from leveling from 1 to 40, at least this wipe 6 times, and in previous wipes I've done it heaps. So guys, without further ado, let's crack straight into it. Alright, so level 23 you require 358,000 XP, and by the end of this video, the amount of quest XP alone will be 227,000. So I'm going to farm about 130,000 XP from the actual raids themselves, which you would have got 60 from the first 15 levels. So there's a bit of change of focus. You're still going to be searching every single scav backpack. Assume this from now on that you're going to search every backpack for keys and items that you need, because it's always random and you never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates, you know. And you'll no longer be searching filing cabinets. You don't need to worry about them at all. The major keys that you needed from filing cabinets are done and dusted, and the other items you don't really need to stress about too much. You should be able to find them in other places. Start worrying about weapon crates. One of your major choke points you're about to hit is the 60 round mags, and weapon crates is going to be your friend in trying to find them. Down below there's going to be a link to a item or task list that you need for all the future task items in the game. It's a good idea to just have a peruse through this, check out the items you're going to need, and if you've got any room spare when you're leaving a raid, start grabbing these items and chucking them in a scav junk box. You can purchase one of these from Therapist level 2 for about 800k, and I suggest every time you finish a raid, even if you just want to make some money, just chuck these spare junk items because you might require them for a task later on. Also, a lot of the items now trade for other items, say weapons and modifications that will be handy. So right now, if you've done everything up to where I said for level 15, you should be on 3 major choke points, or at least blockages. You need Propor's ice cream cones, which is your 60 round mags. You need Skiers, the flash drives, unless you were lucky enough to grow a couple in the very first raids of Woods. And Therapist's painkillers, which is your morphine. You need 10 morphine. So because you need all 3 of these items, I highly suggest at level 15 you've got Ragman unlocked and you start going into Interchange. The first Ragman task requires you to have level 2 loyalty level, and all you need to do with this is buy and sell his hats back and forth or call packs, and once you've done that you'll be at level 15 and no problem. You might have to burn about 200,000 rubles, but it's just a fact of the game. The next quest is Make Ultra Great Again, which is kill a heap of scavs. Big Sale literally just means run around there. Blood of War, you've got to mark some tanks. And Database is literally just run around and pick up some items and run out. Which means you've got probably 5 to 10 raids as a minimum of farming all the other items that are within Interchange. I'll put a link below to my 2 Interchange loot guides and the map guide to find out some of the locations to pick up items. But it's very important here to actually learn the map thoroughly because it's the best loot map in the game. You'll be able to pick up majority of the task items for the rest of the game in this one map. So the more you can learn about it, the better, and there's plenty of places you can go grab all these items. So you want to be hitting up all the tech stores, your med stores, and checking every single computer you can for the flash drive, which will be just hanging out the front of it. Pretty much from here, once you're looting all those weapon crates you need to change, there's heaps in the basement, by the way, and there's other ones through Goshen and at back at Goshen. You want to be looting all those and then hopefully getting your 60 round mags. It's probably one of the harder items to find. You should be asking other people in your communities if you can, just for to do the trades, unless you're unlucky and you've gotten to that point fast enough that no one else in the game has it yet. And it's kind of one of those shitty spots because the trade for 60 round mags requires you to complete the quest first, and then you can trade hard drives for it. So you either have to do it yourself and find them, or just get lucky and kill someone who's got a heap of them anyway. So once you get your 60 round mags, you can start doing the Postman Pat storyline bit and also shaking up Teller. When you can trade for a 60 round mag, you can now do Mechanics Gunsmith Part 2, which will unlock the Signal quest, which was going to be for Shoreline, and I'll speak about Shoreline soon with some other tasks. When you get the Morphine, you'll have the Pharmacist quest. When you go to Customs next, you need to start searching the back of the car at Checkpoint for the 114 key. This spawns here pretty often, so you shouldn't take too long to get it, as well as med spawn in there as well, so it's a kind of handy spot to check that jacket in there. Now when you're on through Interchange, checking all those flash drives, once you are lucky enough to get those flash drives, you'll unlock your Skier storyline for Golden Swag and the Chemical storyline. You want to get to Chemical Part 1 as soon as possible because that opens up Friend from the West Part 1. Once you have Friend from the West Part 1, and if you have got up to the point where you're on the Punisher series as well, you can start going Shoreline. I don't touch Shoreline until I've got Friend from the West Part 1 and Punisher Part 1. It means pretty much if you kill a player or a scav, you're working towards completing a task, which is really handy. And Punisher Part 1 and 2 is both kill 20 scavs, so there's 40 scavs you need to kill and 10 USEC. You got a few runs of Shoreline before you have to worry about other tasks really. So you're just going to be running through your Shoreline, trying to kill players, going to scavs. If you need to kill players, I run just to every gunshot I hear and just hope that I can catch someone off guard, because sometimes Shoreline can be very, very dead and other times it's really busy. Now if you have finished the Gunsmith Part 1 and 2 and you're on the Signal storyline Part 2, you can chuck that into Shoreline, and that's handy because you're actually getting another task done on Shoreline. So as you can see the pattern here, I'm trying to optimize doing as many tasks on the same map at the same time. So for example with the Ragman, doing all the Ragman running around Interchange, I'm still looking for items for the other traders. So as you're going through your Shoreline runs, you want to be killing those scavs, trying to get those players and getting that Signal Part 1 done. You can also keep an eye out for stuff that you need for the Mechanic Gunsmith Part 3, which is with the MP5. The main choke point with that one is the actual 50 round mag, which has now got a trade for it at least. So after completing all these tasks, this should get you to around level 23, as well as for killing and all the looting that you've been doing in the meantime. Some of the final tips I want to chuck into the end of this video though that are really important is when you're going through customs, for example, you want to be checking the big red warehouse on the breach room table for the East 206 key. I'd check the bust for the East 310 key as well. That's the best loot room in the game. If you haven't got the Oli Logistics key, the Goshen key, and the Mess key, you're going to need them very soon. So you definitely want to be checking these locations for every time you go into customs. And then lastly, of course, you should be grabbing the 114 key if you haven't already from the back of the car at the checkpoint in customs. For the few times you do go factory, and if you want to just take a break from doing some quests and just do some factory farming, feel free. It's a good way of getting XP, and you'll have to do it later on anyway if you farm XP in factory, which is what I do. But you want to grab that West 306 key, which spawns in factory bathroom as well. Now, every time you go Shoreline, there is a shitload of keys that you need to grab. I've got a keys guide for Shoreline. I'll chuck that down in the description below. But the West 112 key, which spawns in the bus depot on Shoreline, you want to be farming that one as early as possible as well, because that's going to be another choke point if you can't find that key. So guys, there is a lot going on in these levels, and I understand I've tried to condense a lot of information on. That's why I've kind of doing it in brackets, say 15 to 23, because I want to try and get that idea into your head that you want to try and maximize every run to be doing multiple tasks at the same time, instead of just bumming around trying to figure out what you should be doing. Now, yeah, you can play this game for fun. This guide's about being able to level like a boss, and so I want you guys to be able to level like that too. So maximize every single run you can. Grab every single item on the way out. If you're going to be leaving the raid then and you can see some extra junk items, grab them on the way out. They can come in handy later on. And guys, my next video is going to cover probably the worst part of leveling, where you're going to have to grind that way from 23 to 30. Most of that's going to be in Shoreline, which can be a very painful map for most people, either due to optimization or the fact that it's hard to find players on there sometimes, or you just die before you even get to see that. So guys, I'll be putting that video out as soon as I finish it, so be sure to check that one out. Guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for future content. I stream on Twitch 6 days a week. I'm really pumped for this wipe. Guys, feel free to pop in, ask me any question you've got. There's a link below down for that. I really do appreciate when you guys just come in and say good day, and thanks for the videos. It makes it all the reason why I make these. Also, if I haven't actually shouted this out for a while, I do have a Patreon and a merch page. The link's down below for that. If you want to support my YouTube channel, feel free to do it via that means. And lastly, guys, thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Scavs to the left of me, Rochelle to the right. Here I am, I have no clue what to do. I simply have no clue what to do. Of course. Of course.